Hey guys, so today we're going to be changing the clutch on the ZXR250. Pardon the noise in the background, my dad's going ham on the mill. Okay, so you're going to need a few things for this. It's a fairly simple task, but you're going to need a few things. We're going to be draining the oil because it's a wet clutch, so you will need a bucket. You'll just need some basic sockets, screwdrivers, an Allen key, and you'll need a clutch cover gasket. So when you take the clutch cover off on the other side of the bike, basically you're going to ruin the clutch cover gasket, so you're going to need a new one of these. Cool. Step one, drain the oil. So the oil drain plug is just on the left side at the bottom here. You don't even need to take the fairing off, so it's just a 17mm socket. It's best if you can to run the bike a little bit just to get it a bit hot before you drain the oil, because then the oil becomes less viscous and flows easier. But if you can't, it's not the end of the world, it just means you have to wait longer. So whilst the oil is draining, we're going to take this fairing off to get to the clutch cover. Cool. So next thing, we're going to want to disconnect the clutch cable. So to get rid of the clutch cable, you just get rid of this, so that just pops out of that clip there. That's the idle adjustment. And then what you do is, since we only want to disconnect the clutch cable from the lower end, we don't want to screw with anything on the handle. Basically all you'll do is you get a 12mm spanner, loosen this back nut, which will allow you to pull the clutch cable outwards, pull the whole thing out. You can twist this pivoting part outwards and push the cable and pull it out to disconnect it. The clutch release pin, whatever it is, just pulls straight out. So we've taken all the perimeter bolts out now, so it should want to come off. It might be a little bit sticky. Boom, done. So that's the clutch cover. The release pin goes through those roller bearings gently, and the open end there catches on that pin there, which actuates the clutch when you pull the lever. So you have one friction disc. So there we go. Pop that face down. What are you left with? Nothing, just spinning one of these. So now's a good time to show you what we're going to be replacing. So we've got new friction discs. Should have 4 new springs. Okay, we have 6 for some reason, just in case you lose 2 or eat them or something. So you can see there the old springs have shrunk a bit, so that could be part of the reason for the clutch slipping. So the service limit for the friction pads is 2.5mm. And 2.8. So the friction pads, or at least that one, is actually within the limit. That's quite a common thing. A clutch can still slip even if the friction pads, yeah, it's 2.77. So technically the friction discs and the springs are within the limit, but in my experience that doesn't actually mean much. A clutch can still slip even if it's within limits. So in my daily ZXR, the one you've seen in all the videos hooning, that started getting clutch slip soon after I bought it. So I did this, and then that got rid of all the clutch slip. I'm going to start with the friction disc. I'm going to cover it in oil. Basically anything which you're replacing, which when the engine's running is in oil, you should probably lightly coat it in oil before you install it. Then you go, there's two types of discs, thick and thin ones. So then you go with a thick steel disc next. That goes on. Thin steel disc. Boom. Next friction plate. Boom. On together. Next friction disc. And the last friction disc, we put it just in these little teeth here, so just one notch over. So we've got the clutch pack back in, and now we're just going to put the clutch plate back on. So we've got the bearing on there. Then it's just going to go over like that. We put our fresh springs in. Very nice. And try and do them up kind of equally as you go. Don't do all of one up and then the other. 9 Newton meters. Gasket sealant. Yeah, and just gently push it down. Put the timing chain sensor back in. And gently put the cover back on. Okay, sweet. All the clutch cover bolts are back in. We have put the pin back in, and we've reconnected the bottom of the clutch cable to the pin. And then we've checked that, yep, the clutch lever works. It doesn't snag up on anything. You can actually feel the new springs, since the new springs are longer. The clutch lever feels a bit heavier, so a bit more solid, so it's nice. So we're going to do up the rest of this, torque all the outside bolts of the clutch cover, and then we're going to fill it with oil. Very important, fill it with oil, then start it, and take it for a short ride. Cool, we got oil in the window, almost to the top. That will probably drop a bit after we run it a few times. Cap back on, not at 1,000,000 Newton meters like I did last time. So I haven't started this in a while, so it might take a few goes. Or not. Hold it on the clutch a little bit until it gets warm. Not the clutch, the choke. So now what I'll probably do is I'll get the flashlight and have a look for leaks or anything. Cool, let's take it for a ride. quickly chuck the fairing on and then done. Okay, and that's it. So the fairing's back on and we are pretty much done. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all the support. Thanks to everyone who's bought a t-shirt so far. It really means a lot. And I will see you in the next one.